Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today we are going to do a very important topic, and that is active and passive voice. I will try to teach you in a sense that you understand it very clearly. Okay, what is active and passive voice? How are you going to change a voice from active to passive? And I think if by the end of this lesson you're going to understand it pretty well. So let's start. So, what is an active and passive voice? Obviously, when the subject is in the active mode, we say that it is an active voice, and when something is done by the subject, so we call it a passive voice. There are certain rules for these active and passive voice. First, we are going to look at those rules, and I hope that you can see it on the screen. The first rule that we have over here is that the subject takes place of the object and vice versa. Okay, so what does it mean basically when you are changing an active voice into a passive voice? The subject changes its place and it will take the position of an object, and the object on the other hand will take the position of a subject. The first rule. Then we have the second rule, and that is that the tense remains the same. So if you are talking about the present indefinite tense, it will remain in the present indefinite. If we are talking about the progressive tense as present continuous, it will remain in present continuous. So the tense does not change into any other tense. Okay, then we have the rule number 3, and that is a very important rule in the sense that we have the third form of the verb used in passive voice. So it's quite simple. If you know the third form of the verb, you can easily put it in the passive voice and you don't need to bother about that anymore. Okay, then we have the fourth rule, and that is that you're going to use by. What are you going to use? By before the subject. So obviously this is a by is also a part of a passive voice, and this comes in the formula as well. Now the fifth point is that you're going to use a suitable form of be. Now this is a very important point, and we are going to discuss it in further detail afterwards. So the suitable form of be, what is the suitable form of be, how do we use it? This is the most important point, and you have to be very vigilant when I tell you about the suitable form of be, because it is the main part in the formula and we apply it everywhere. Now we have another rule, and that is rule number 6, that in imperative sentences, just like the sentences, what are imperative sentences? The sentences which has a command or a request, we use let. So this is another totally different formula is used for these type of sentences, for the imperative sentences. So we are going to do this one at the end, the last rule, but at the moment what we are going to discuss, the 5 rules will be discussed when you are changing from active voice to passive voice. Now first of all, as I told you, and I made a star on the suitable form of be, we are going to discuss the suitable form of be and what is be. Okay, so here we go. Here we have the be. And what is the be? Let's see. Be is basically the verb which is known as the father of the verb. Why is it known the father of the verb? Because it has certain subtypes, and that is MR in the present tense, was, were in the past tense, we have be in the future indefinite tense, we have being form for the continuous tenses, and we have been for the perfect tenses. So these are the main forms of be that we are going to use during our transformation from active to passive voice. So this is very important. Now father of the father of the verb, this be is very important in changing from active to passive voice. And you have to remember these forms that I have just written in front of you. These are the very important forms. They are going to help you if you understand it and you learn it, because they are quite simple. It's not a big deal. It's not difficult that you can't learn it. It's very simple. So you have to follow it, and when you follow it, you're going to understand it quite easily. So we have is MR. Let me repeat it once more. We have ismr in the present tense, we have was were in the past tense, we have be in the future indefinite, and we have been for the continuous tenses, we have been for the perfect tenses over here. So if there is again, then we have the modal verbs, and sometimes in the passive voice the main verb doesn't come, the helping verb, we can use modal verbs instead of it. For example, can, must, would, could, might. So with these modal verbs, whenever they come in a sentence, you're going to use the original form of be with it. Okay, for example, can be, must be, would be, could be. Okay, so here we are. So now comes the formula. We have two formulas. First formula is when you are changing from the active to the passive voice, the simple sentences, all types of tenses. And the second type is the imperative sentences formula. When I gave you the rule number 6, that was basically for this one, that here we have the let one. Okay, we are going to do this later. First of all, we have to discuss the first formula, and in this formula, when you are changing an active voice into a passive voice, this formula comes, and this is basically the passive voice formula. In this, first of all, we put the object o in the beginning. After that, we're going to use the same helping verb. Same helping verb means that if the tense has a helping verb, you're going to use the same helping verb over there. If the tense does not have a helping verb, then you're not going to use that helping verb. Okay, then we have the suitable form of be. As I told you earlier, I told you about the be form, that it is very important, and it comes in the suitable form of be is very important. I told you before. So what is suitable form of be? Suitable form of be is ismr, was, were, and being, and been, and be. Okay, so now the next step in the formula is the third form of the verb. I told you, okay, in the passive voice we are going to use the third form of the verb, so this is an important, and after that by an s. Okay, s means subject. Now the other formula that we have, these are basically for the imperative sentences, and this one follows the rule number 6, in which we are going to use let. Then we are going to have an object. We are also going to have the original form of be and the third form of the verb in it. Okay, so this is the second formula, but first we are going to focus on this first formula over here. This is our main focus for the day. Okay, here we are. Now the next step is when you know, okay, what is the suitable form of be, when you know what is the formula, after that you are also supposed to know, okay, how the change of pronoun takes place. Yani, for example, if you have in an active voice you have I, because it is the subject, so when it comes in the form of an object, it will turn into me. Then we have we will change into us, he will change into him, she will change into her, and they will change into them. So this is what how we are going to change the pronouns. Okay, now in front of you I have a page, and in this page what I have done basically, that I have divided this page into two parts. Now on the first side I have written active voice, on the second I have written passive voice. Now if you look closely at it, we have an active voice, and what do we have in the active? We have a subject, we have a helping verb, we have the main verb, and we have the object. So these are the four things that we have in the active voice form. And what sorts of sentences are changed into passive voice? That is, we change the present indefinite tense. Look over here. As you can see, the present indefinite tense, then we have past indefinite, then we have future indefinite. We have two types of continuous tenses, as present continuous and past continuous. We do not change the future continuous, we change only present continuous and past continuous. Then we come to the perfect tense, and in the perfect tense we have present perfect, past perfect, and future perfect. So future, if we talk at present perfect continuous tense, that tense we don't change. So the four tense, we are not going to change it over here. The changes that we are going to make in the three indefinite tenses, the two continuous tenses, and the three perfect tenses. Okay, now I have on the next page, on the next side, if you look over here, this is the passive voice page. And what have I done over here? I have added the formula over here. Now we have all the tenses are present over here as they are the same as in the active voice. But over here the formula is object. Over there we had what? We had a helping verb. Here we are going to say same helping verb. Then we have added suitable form of be, the third form of the verb. Then we have by and s subject. What is this basically in the end? What is this? So I'm going to give you a close up. It is basically, I have written over here the suitable form of be like this, so that you can understand that in a present tense which three forms are we going to use. That I told you before that we use is, mr. In the present tense we use was and were. In the past tense we use be. In the future we use being. In the continuous tenses and we use being. So this last portion, this over here, is just for your learning. It's not the part of the formula over here, because I have already added the suitable form of be in the center, so we don't need it. It's just for your benefit. I just want you to just select the right suitable form of be for the present tense, for the past tense, and onwards. Okay, now we are going to focus on the page. Now this is the page that we have. Now we are going to take one sentence and we are going to convert it into various forms, and that is the way how you're going to understand how we are going to change it into the passive voice. Okay, now here we are. I have filled this page, and if you look at very closely, we are going to understand at the first sentence that he plays football. Now we do not have any helping verb in this form, so it's clear that in present indefinite and past indefinite you do not have a helping verb. Okay, so it means you're not going to use any sort of helping verb in the active voice, but and in the same way when you change it in a passive voice, we are not going to use the any sort of helping verb. Look over here, I have written the dash. So now we're going to look at the formula. He plays football, the first sentence. Now look at when we turn it into the passive voice sentence, look at the object. The first object we are going to write football, because football is our object over here. So after that they have written same helping verb. Do we have a helping verb? No, I have put a dash over here, so automatically I'm going to put a dash in this same over here. That dash, you can see it. You are not supposed to add anything over here. No helping verb. Present indefinite and past indefinite does not have a helping verb. Now the next portion in the formula is the suitable form of be. Now which suitable form of be are you going to use over here? I have used is. Why I have used is? Simple. Football, the object is singular, so obviously that over here, as I told you before, that is mr will come in the present tense. So as you are having football, and football is singular, so we are going to use is over here. Okay, and after that when you have used is, now this is not your helping verb. This is basically your suitable form of be. You have to remember that. Okay, this is not your helping verb, it is a suitable form of be that you're using. We have not used any helping verb over here. Then the next thing that we have is the third form of verb, and that is obviously played, for play. So you're going to use the third form, and that is played, and then you're going to use by and him as a pronoun. Okay, so the next tense that we have is in the past tense. We have he played football. Again, we do not have any helping verb over here. So what are we going to do when we change it into a passive voice? Simple, we are going to use football, our object. We are going to leave this same helping verb, we are going to leave it. And then now over here I have used was. Now why I have used was? Because in the past tense the suitable form of be is either was or were. So football is a singular, so you're going to use was over here. And then the same thing, you're going to use the third form of the verb, played by him. So this is your past indefinite tense change into a passive voice. Then we are going to use, now the next tense is future indefinite tense. Now how are you going to use make a sentence of future indefinite? You are going to say he will play football. Now over here we have an addition of a helping verb over here, and we're going to use the same helping verb in the passive voice. Now how we're going to use it? Simple. It's you're going to write football over here, and then the same helping verb will come over here in the same helping verb column. Then in the suitable form of be, I told you in before as well that in you with suitable form of be, you're going to use the be original form over here, then played by him. So the rest of the thing is the same, no changes. Okay. Now the next two sentences are the continuous sentences. We have he is playing football and he was playing football. What is the difference? Only the verb, sorry, only the helping verb is and was is the main difference between the tenses that you're going to understand. Now we have an ing form over here, and automatically when you look at the ing form in the present tense, in the active voice, automatically it turns out that the suitable form of the be that you're going to use will be being. Okay, now when we change these sentences into passive voice, look closely. We're going to have football, then the same helping verb as is over here, I have used is, then I'm going to use the suitable form of be over here, and this is being. Why? Because this is a continuous tense, and in the continuous tense the suitable form of be is being, and then you're going to use the third form of the verb and then by him. Same, easy. Now we come to the past continuous tense. Again we have the helping verb was, so football was being again. Why? Because continuous tense, it's a continuous tense, you're going to use being and then played by him. Now we come to perfect tense. Now what is the quality of a perfect tense? Simple. Perfect tense has, have or had, and in the future tense we have will have. So these are our helping verbs over here, and then we already have the third form of the verb in it, so we don't need to bother about the third form of the verb. What will be the third form? We already know it. Okay, now how are we going to change it? Very simple. The suitable form of be that you're going to use over here is been, B-E-E and been. Why? Because this is a perfect tense, and in a perfect tense you're going to use been over here. Okay, so here we are with the being. Now when we change this tense, we're going to say football, same helping verb has. If it would have been footballs, then you're going to use have with that, but over here we have football singular, so we are going to use has. Say it's the same helping verb, and we are going to use been for a suitable form of be, then played by him. Okay, and in the same way you're going to use football had been played by him in the past perfect. And but what is the only change that you're going to do in the future perfect? That you're going to use will have this whole of this helping verb in the same column over here. Like if you look over here, this we have football will have. Now the suitable in the same helping verb you're going to use will have, and after that you're going to use the suitable form of be, that is been, and then played by him. So this is the whole picture. We have converted one formula, one tense into all these types. Okay, and how it has been changed, I have told you very clearly. The suitable form of be is the major most important thing in it, and if you understand this concept, then you can easily change active into passive voice. It's going to be quite easy for you. Okay guys, I hope that you have understood that. Now the thing is, again, I gave you two formulas. So the first formula was for the simple sentences changing from active to passive voice. Now we are going to do the next formula number 2, and this is basically for the imperative sentences, how you are going to change it, what is the formula for it. So I told you before as well, and we are going to discuss it now. You are going to, for imperative sentences are those sentences in which you give a command or you do a request. I have written this sentences which is only having a command, and so that you should understand this quite clearly. That's why I have not used the request ones, but inshallah in any upcoming video I will also explain that as well. So formula number 2 is that you're going to use let over here, and then after that you're going to have excuse me, you're going to have the object, and after that you're going to have be, original be form, and now we have the third form of the verb, and this is it. So open is basically our verb. Okay, and the door is our object. So now when you open the door, you are giving an order to somebody to open the door, or for example, polish the shoes, or you have washed the dishes. So these are the sentences that shows that you're giving an order. So for such sentences, what formula are you going to use? You're going to use let. So we have used let, then you're going to use the object, the door, and then you're going to use the original form of be and the third form of the verb. So let the door be opened. Let the sorry, I have written show, but it is basically shoes, so you can correct it. OES. Okay, shoes. Let the shoes be polished. You have to put an ed over here because it's a mistake, but it's all right. You know how to do it now. And wash the dishes. Let the dishes be washed. So this is the how you're gonna learn to do the active and passive voice. It's quite easy. Go through it again and again. Try to practice accordingly, and you're gonna learn it. It is very easy, and a simple practice will make you learn it quite easily. So I want you to follow the formula and learn this exercise, learn how to solve active and passive voice. With this, I will end my lesson. I hope that you have enjoyed. Allah Hafiz.